Remember, the demon cats are still in control. Nancy Pelosi still has the gavel. The majority is still the communist college protester. The hippies, in other words, are still running Congress. The adults don't take Congress back until January. So during the time that the hippies are in power, they want to turn over the store to Russia, to China, and to the backers who put them in power, like George Soros. Texas, Tim, you're on the Savage Nation.
Hey, thanks, Mike, for having me on. I appreciate it. I say that, George Soros and people like him are behind this thing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're listening. Now, this thing about Soros, I've got to say this. Recently, Glenn Beck started to make a big deal about George Soros, but I've been talking about Soros for years. You got to understand, I am Glenn Beck's professor. And so that's okay that the student is copying what the professor has said and elaborating on it. But the fact is that I was onto Soros a long time before the guy with the blackboards. You know that.
Well, sure, yeah. I a couple of your books, and I've been checking Soros out. And I got to say, every time I see you or anybody else say anything, I go check it for myself on the internet, some source like maybe George Soros saying it himself. And he said that he became hooked. He used the word addicted to bringing down regimes and toppling their currencies. He's out of control. He's a megalomaniac, you know. And I believe.
Well, let's not use that term. It's beyond megalomaniac. The man is a genius currency trader. He has computer programs that only he knows about. He almost broke the Bank of England. He almost broke the Bank of Malaysia. You know all of that, correct?
Yes, sir.
My suspicion is that, you write about it in Trickle Up Poverty, that it was he and friends in the MFA, Managed Funds Association, a group of hedge fund investors with whom Soros is affiliated. They lobbied SEC Chairman Cox to have all the rules changed so they could engineer a raid on U.S. markets to trigger a financial crisis that they foresaw could turn the election in favor of their '08 candidate, Barack Obama. And their strategy worked. It's on page 81 of Trickle Up Poverty. Have you read that in my book yet?
I can't. It's not in the book. It's not at Books A Million in Longview, Texas.
Well, I'm going to send you a free copy. But let me go a step further on Soros. Anytime anyone mentions George Soros, the ADL comes in and says it's anti-Semitism. Have you seen that have you seen that little follow-up? Anyone who dares criticize George Soros, suddenly the hearts and flowers come out, the violins start getting played. A poor Holocaust survivor, how dare us pick on a Jew? Have you seen that or not?
Yeah, yes, Michael, and I also saw him say out of his own mouth, nobody told me this, that he said he doesn't support Jerusalem. He doesn't support Israel because they have enough supporters. That's basically what he said.
Yeah, right. Well, that should say an awful lot with regard to the issue of the Hebraic Association. But the ADL is a very questionable organization for a number of reasons. I want everyone listening to this show to know something. I wrote to the Anti-Defamation League months ago to help me with the ban in Britain. They never even answered my letter. And they have the nerve to protect this billionaire currency trader like he is the victim? You follow what I'm saying to you?
I agree.
They're a lobbying group like every other one of these pressure groups and nothing different, and they're not sacrosanct. They go where the money is. So let me continue. So their strategy worked. In the end, some believe that George Soros and similarly minded financiers benefited in an extraordinary way while moving the country dangerously toward control by leftists. Despite this alleged manipulation of the marketplace, Soros is free and active today. While he's still denying his involvement in one of the greatest scandals in American history, that is when he's not crowing that he had a very good crisis, I'm wondering why there isn't an investigation into this matter. Now, it's interesting to me that Charlie Rangel is being investigated for ethics violations, and I'm sure that there are real reasons for doing so. But he's a small fish compared to a man of this stature and of this power. And you don't see any investigations of him? Or how about the former Treasury Secretary, Paulson? Why is his name never mentioned in any of this discussion of the meltdown of our economy that gave us Barack Obama?
Because they know they don't need to investigate them. They know that these guys are guilty. They don't want to.
Well, all right. You see the connect. Tim, stay in the line. I'm sending you. It's all on pages 80 to 83 of Trickle Up Poverty. Hundreds upon hundreds of minor players were involved in this fraud as well. Another member of the MFA is John Paulson, no relation to former Treasury Secretary Henry Paulson, one of the architects of the TARP bailout. Paulson saw the value of his hedge fund firm rise exponentially in '07 thanks to the rule changes that the MFA lobbied for. While he predicted the crash and the demise of Lehman Brothers and Wachovia, the real reasons he was able to realize huge profits from the financial meltdown were the rule changes that he took advantage of to line his pockets. Paulson, like Cox and Soros, is still plying his trade. In his case, as a hedge fund trader. He's still enjoying the billions of dollars in profits he made personally from participating in the attack on the American economy, reference number 4, in trickle-up poverty. So if you think I'm just throwing around brickbats, you're mistaken. This is a carefully researched book. The lawyers at my publisher read the statements before they were published. They checked my references. Every listener to this show owes it to themselves to know the facts.